Okay.
All right, I'll see you online.
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? What's up? Yay!
There we
Some
go.
technical difficulties, had to switch a controller, and in the meantime, the whole thing just shut down. Mixer stream cut off, so let's hope this is not indicative of the way this evening's going to go. We're going to get this started right away here, guys. Let's get the game going. Do apologize to TiVo and Game Done Sites have been standing by patiently, as well as Blue. Thanks for your patience, so let's get this rocking. So anyway, it is a Monday night, and let's start this podcast over. Welcome to the 11th episode, Mixing It Up with Newf. My guest this evening is the amazing, awesome Blue Rendezvous. She is my guest. Been dying to get her on to the podcast here, or the podcast / stream, that, etc., etc., etc. So you guys know how this goes. We're going to play a little Gears of War horde mode, but it's just kind of shits and giggles. I'm not going to take this too seriously. We're going to ask some, questions about her background, as she got into gaming, all that stuff, and then we're going to get into some gaming topics. So just again, shout out to the Console Corner crew. They started their podcast back up tonight. Shout out to them. Shout out as well as Zaire, the Broadband Bullies, Beastfire podcast as well. Awesome troop over there on Monday nights, and shout out to Blue and crew right here. So glad to have you on the podcast, Blue. How are you this evening, my woman? What's going on?
Learn, people. Watch and learn.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. It feels weird because it feels like deja vu,
Yeah, no doubt. Didn't we just do this a few minutes ago?
I know, right? But it's all good. We all have technical difficulties. This is how that rolls, and you do it so gracefully. Like, it's awesome.
Well, I try. I can only work as fast as the equipment and the Xbox and Mixer won't allow me to go. So, yeah. Cletus, you got to stay away from the wires. You got to stay away from the wires, they're telling me. Deathlord, what's going up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Alan Savage, Jago, Stinking Corpse, Siberia. All you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here again. We appreciate the support. It's going to be a fun show, Punkadish. Thanks for stopping by. We're getting ready to roll this here. So, Blue, let's take us back. Let's go back to your childhood. Tell us about, how you got into gaming. What are some of your earliest memories? Kind of what hooked you?
So, when I... Oh, okay, what did I say before? Okay, so I was born and raised in New York City. And I didn't say before, though, but I was raised by a single mom, basically. And so I think one of the aspects of when it came to, like, I've always been interested in games. I've always been a gamer, but I had to go and kind of play games at my cousin's house as opposed to, my own games, because my mom didn't believe in video games. She wanted us to focus on, playing, paying attention in school and, focusing on our grades and homework and things like that. But I also think that, now that I'm older and I realize it, I think that a lot had to do with money, because, like, games were expensive.
Yeah, they sure were.
And so, yeah, I used to just go to, like, my cousin's house, my friend's house. And my cousin, he was a lot older than me, so I used to play, like, the more hardcore games, like Call of Duty, or, all those shooters that would be out and things like that, even though I wasn't supposed to. But my other friend, I would play the other things like, Nintendo and Sega and all that other stuff. Because he would have he had every single system.
Right. So what was your first system? What was the first one your mom ever bought you, or you bought yourself?
So the first one that I got for myself was actually a hand-me-down.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he gave me his old GameCube. That was the first system I had, which is actually funny because the first game that I actually played and didn't complete because I was really bad at it, but tried to complete it, was Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
that game was awesome.
So how old would you say you were then?
I almost died. How old was I? Oh, I had a really bad memory, so, like, bear with me. I think I was like preteen, around there.
Yeah.
Sort of like, yeah, like,
right.
Not teenager yet, but like preteen, because I remember being super excited and it still being like, it was not a new system.
Right.
It was out already for a while.
And how old are you now?
I remember he gave it to me because.
How old am I now? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Oh, you're 26. I
Dun,
was
dun,
thinking you were
dun.
even
Most
younger
people
than
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. There you
Most
go.
people
Now you
don't know my
know.
real age, but yes. Now you know. Uh-oh, Matt, you're in the
Now
chat.
you
I see
know.
you.
That's
Don't tell
the whole
anybody.
point about this podcast is to get to know the people that you game and chat with on Twitter. It's great. Jago's
Yeah.
laughing in the chat because I said the lunchbox. You probably had the purple GameCube too, didn't you?
Yeah. It was the purple
That
one.
funky
Yeah.
ass purple. Why did Nintendo pick that one? I don't know. But they had a lot of different colors. But yeah, because I had the black one and then I had the silver one. But yeah, GameCube was actually
Ooh,
one of my
black would have been nice.
favorites at the time.
Hey, when you're mooching, you can't decide what color you want.
Yeah,
Okay?
you can always take out a couple of crayons or markers and just color the shit anyway, right?
Or put some stickers on it. Oh my gosh, can you
Oh
imagine?
man,
That would be
put some stickers, yeah. Speaking of
Oh
stickers,
gosh.
speaking of stickers, are you team no sticker or team sticker? Did you peel the sticker off your Xbox?
Listen, I peeled that off so fast.
Yes.
I'm not doing this. I don't need no stickers on my stuff. However, I will say that I do have the plastic on my TV.
Right. What's going on, Osmark?
So
Thanks for
it's
joining
weird.
the podcast. Fuck the sticker.
It's
We,
like
we got team no sticker up in here,
Yeah,
people.
no sticker. Yeah, I mean, I don't. It makes it look ugly to me.
Yeah, I don't get it
But
either.
then again, my
Especially-
TV still has the plastic wrap kind of around it, the protective wrap. You know,
Yeah.
it's a sticker, but.
And on top
I'm
of that,
weird, I
it's,
don't
it's
know.
a sticker that says HDMI. It's like, what? You need a sticker to tell you that you gotta
Oh,
plug it
yeah.
into the HDMI port? Like, you know what I mean? I don't get
Yeah, I
the people
took
that
it
leave
off real
stickers
fast.
on and make the system look ugly as shit. Like, Drain says no stickers. There we
It's
go,
not
guys.
It's
We
not
got a
like
good-
it's a sticker that keeps
Yeah.
it safe or anything. It doesn't do anything.
Exactly. It's like, Jesus, that's the equivalent of leaving the fucking tape on your maxi pad. You know what I mean? Like, take this shit off.
Oh my goodness! I know chills knew. I knew what I was signing myself up for.
No chills, no chills. Awesome.
I don't even know what to say to that.
So what was not like I've ever left a tape on a maxi pad, but I do know what
I know.
tape looks like on a maxi pad. But yeah, Monkey Punch is
Oh,
saying, "What's up,
goodness.
Blue? What's up, Monkey Punch? Thanks for stopping by, brother."
Hi.
So what was your favorite game? An old game. Like what game did you spend the most time with? Was it Resident Evil or was it something different?
So I was such a bad gamer when I was younger that I spent so much time trying to beat Resident Evil. I have the most memories trying to beat that game, and I never got to beat it. Can you imagine? I eventually with school and everything, just I just said forget it. I can't beat this game, and then I started
Right.
moving on to other games, and then eventually I stopped playing because I went and I got my own, and the first system that I got that was my own was an Xbox. While I did play on PlayStation and things like that, because my dad had a PlayStation when I would go visit him whenever that would be, and other people had that. I decided to get an Xbox for my first, and I think that was because of Gears of War, to be honest. So Gears of War was definitely the
Right.
first franchise that I actually spent a lot of time getting good at.
Right.
And it was fun because I had people on Xbox Live that I would play with. And that part right there was the most, not the most important for me, but what really was the draw for me.
Right.
I really enjoyed playing with other people. So co-op games and PvP games were awesome for me.
So now, if you could only own one, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo, what would it be? I think I know the answer to this, but I'm sure the community would like to know. We're going to put you on the spot.
Oh god, if I had to own one, it would probably be Xbox because of the Xbox Live. I feel like if I have a service that works, that I, can figure out, that's not so difficult to
Right.
do, that doesn't go down every so often. Yeah, I said it. Then yeah, I mean, Xbox. It's mostly because it's the one that I started with, so there's also that aspect of it. I think the one that you start with has a special place in your heart. And this game has a special place in my heart too, even though I get mad at it a lot.
Yeah, Gears of War, I
A
think
lot.
it's because we love it so much that we kind of hate it at the same time, you know, like, and we've seen the
It's
series
a love-hate for
evolve.
sure.
We've seen the series evolve. We've seen it improve in ways. We've kind of seen it regress in a couple of ways. And I guess that's just nature of the beast, you know. Fans are fickle and people want everything, but they won't want nothing. You know, they want everything new, but then they don't want nothing to change. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've played PlayStation. I've had PlayStation. I've returned an Xbox at one point for a PlayStation because I'm the type that I need something to. I need to get what I spent my money for. You know what I mean? Like I need to get my money's worth out of something that I'm paying for. So I'm not the type to kind of like, oh, you know, I have to have it because of, you know, silly reasons. Like I will be quick to just get rid of it if I need to. However, I'm aware of what I like, and what I like is a good software and a good service. And so far, I've been having a good time here. So.
So what games have you been kind of currently playing? I mean, obviously this game tonight, but anything new, recent that stands out to you on the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever you might be playing at all?
So I've been really, really into PvP games, like really into it, just because of my streaming. And it's easier to get people involved when you're streaming in a game that you can invite people and play with them and things like that. So the games that I've been playing a lot have been Fortnite on Xbox and on PC. I've been playing Gears of War whenever I can, but not as often as you would think. I used to play Gears of War every single day. Like, every single day I was obsessed. And then I stopped because it started to get crazy.
Drain in the chat says right now he's got the Xbox One, the Wii U. The Wii U is a paperweight for him. Christina says the Game Kid was very special to her with Super Smash Brothers Melee being her most played game, and that makes sense. That was a very popular game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart and Super Smash are pretty much two games you have to have if you own a Nintendo console, right? They kind of go hand in hand, so that's awesome.
For sure.
So what are you looking forward to? You know, like this year, is there any particular game that you're really excited about? I mean, we don't really know what Xbox has got in the pipe yet, but I mean, Sony's certainly got a few big ones coming.
Talking about that. I mean, I'm definitely interested in The Last of Us. I'm definitely interested in Days Gone. I'm definitely interested in State of Decay 2. I'm definitely interested in Sea of Thieves. Yes, I am. And Sea of Thieves I'm mostly interested in because of the co-op play. Like I'm a sucker for co-op games.
Yeah, I love co-op.
I really enjoy that. And of course, it's great for the stream. Like a lot of my gaming lately has been related to streaming. And before I was like more of a single player gamer where I would just like, when I finally got my own console, where I would get truly into the world and the single gameplay storyline and all that stuff. Now I'm more like, I want to get a whole bunch of people to play in here with me. I want to be social, you know. I want to have exciting gameplay, and to me, PvP is exciting. But
yeah, you play a lot of Fortnite.
Sea of Thieves, I play a lot of Fortnite. I definitely do. I play Call of Duty. I play, what else do I play? I have Star Wars Battlefront that I play every now and again when I get a chance. Although not a lot of people have it, so I haven't, you know, found a lot of people to play with me.
Yeah, I think somebody asked in the chat.
PUBG.
I think somebody asked in the chat if Quantum Break is available on Game Pass. I don't think it is in there yet, is it? Quantum Break?
I don't have Game Pass, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't have it either. Are you picking up Game Pass or not quite sure?
I think I'm gonna get the full version of Sea of Thieves, so I don't think I'm gonna get Game Pass.
No,
I mean, I have Game Pass, like I have a year, because I got it for free when I went to the Xbox release party, the Xbox One X. But I don't know if I'm gonna use it yet. So,
gotcha.
Just because I know that I'm probably, if I want to play the Sea of Thieves game for a while, and I don't want to like have to pay to take Game Pass consistently to be able to play that game, you know?
Gotcha.
So might as well. The other games that they have don't really interest me.
Gotcha. Here's usually the toughest question that I ask everybody every week. If you were stranded on a deserted island, could only bring 3 games with you, what do you think they might be? You can pick anything, whether it's online or not. This is just a rhetorical question.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's really tough, right, to pick 3 because there's so many great games, right?
Well, I mean, there's Gears.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate it, I really do love the way it works, the way it runs, and all that good stuff. So I would bring Gears.
Bring Gears. Yeah, Gears. I like that choice.
I would bring. I would probably bring Fortnite. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
So Fortnite and the third one would definitely have to be a game that's like super amazing with storyline. And I think The Last of Us was a really amazing game, like in terms of the story. So
it was
something like that. Something that's like at least one game that's like heartfelt and had a great storyline and makes you like really think, you know?
Yeah, I'd want to bring something that can take you a long time. Like in the chat, Spider-Man said AC Origins, which would be a pretty good one because I think that is the
long time.
I think AC Origins is without a doubt the best Assassin's Creed game so far, and it definitely is very expansive. I'm playing that a lot the last few days. So yeah, good choices though. I mean, you gotta have Gears. Now, what's your favorite Gears game in the franchise? I mean, most people always pick the newest one, but to me personally, my favorite's still the original. Like, but I like the Ultimate Edition. So which one of the Gears games? Like, if you had to toss 3 and keep one, which one would it be?
Gears 3.
Gears 3. That's a good call. I like that too.
I think I really enjoyed Gears 3. I really enjoyed the way that they added like more extras. Like, you know how they had like the beast mode and things like that. I think that they really tried to go far with like what they could do with it.
Right.
So I think Gears 3, and I think that as many issues as it did have. I mean, what Gears hasn't had issues, right? I think it was like one of the better ones that when it came to like the shotgun and weapon issues and things like that. So that's me.
See, now for me, I like the original because it like to me like it was the defining game. You know, like it was big, it was badass. The characters were larger than life. It was the original Delta. More stuff into it, and I always like Gear for campaign. Multiplayer to me was always a bonus, but to me, I really always like campaign. You know, and Gears that original Emergence Day, and you know, you had the tickers, and then you had, you know, it was just very visceral, very raw, and plus there's been no boss in Gears, in my opinion, that's been as good as General Ram. You know, he was like fucking amazing. Like Mira's not bad, but to me, Ram was like. Yeah, he was just like, just can't wait to kill that guy. You know, he was just badass. He comes out and shanks, you know, Lieutenant Kim at the start of the game and stuff. So that was kind of thing.
Yeah, that was so. I almost cried when that happened. But at the same time, like, I'm sorry for everyone that hasn't played these games. I'm sorry if you're gonna. I mean, you haven't played it by now. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, come on. If you haven't played it 3 or 4 years after the fact, it's not a spoiler anymore.
When Dom finds his wife, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or when Dom dies, like, I think everything. They always do a good job of making your heartstrings. You know.
Absolutely.
I think that. I mean, the story, I know people were really mad about the story and things like that, but I've enjoyed the Gear story. Even this one, the new one, like, a lot of people complain about it being boring, like, too many, like, cutscenes, or too much, like, talking and things like that, lots of walking and talking, you know what I mean? But it was for the fans. Like, that's what it was for. And they knew that when they made the game.
Yeah. Yeah, Drain says he likes Gears of War 2, but there's a personal story behind it. It sounds like something too long for him to get into, but yeah, it was pretty sad when Dom died because there was such a great relationship between him and Marcus, and if you read the books, you even get to know a lot more about those guys, so...
I haven't even read the books, oh lord, I'm such a bad fan.
No, it doesn't make you a bad fan.
Oh.
Some people are not into books. For me, like, I've only read one of them, and it's so long to read books for me, you know?
I used to be into books. It's so sad because I used to really read a lot, and now lately I've just been so like busy. I don't know. There's a lot going on in life.
Yeah. Absolutely. So listen, like, we're gonna just another lighthearted topic, and I know because you know, you did the Speak podcast for a very long time, and you used to bring up not only have a few gaming issues, but you had, you know, some great just life issues. And I think one thing I always loved about check out your podcast. You got some really genuine views, and you got them from a variety of perspectives, plus the different walks of life, right? You being a Latino girl and Luca being African American and different things. It was great because you definitely got a lot. So, like, just one thing. Let's talk about one thing that's often comes up. It's like you're female. You love games. So, tell people about like what do you think are some of the worst stereotypes and things that need to get sort of broken away from with girl gamers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I can go on for days when it comes to this. And no lie, the things that I've seen, especially as a streamer, are just ridiculous. Like I oftentimes when I'm streaming, people will come into the chat and say things like, "Where's the boobs?" Or "Show your boobs, I'll give you $100," or something like that, or just things like that where women as gamers can't be separated from their games and their bodies, right? Or their streams and their bodies, things like that. So of course things like that are always bothersome and happen very often. And then at the same time, there's even people who don't necessarily mean to be trolls, but they kind of are anyway, because they'll assume things like, oh, just because you're a female, you can't be as good as a gamer as a guy, right? Or a female gamer can't kick a guy's ass at a game because she's a female. That has nothing to do with that shit. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's like saying, you know what, a female doctor can't be as good as a male, dog walker. Like, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If a female spends more time playing a game than the guy does, then they're gonna be good. Or if she has, like, natural talent, then she's gonna be good. Like, that's just how it works. And same goes for sports. Same goes for a lot of things. And it's not ever about, your gender. Like, gender has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
Like, it just makes no sense to me. Like, it's fine if you guys feel the need, especially, like, I'm surrounded by men when it comes to, like, the games and like with the podcasting and things like that, and the groups that I'm in and all that stuff. Like, I'm surrounded by dudes, which is fine.
Which is a good question for you. Do you find it's easier to actually get along with a lot of men? Because from my personal experience, I mean, God bless women, but I find that, like, a lot of women that I've met actually get along much better with the guys, because outside of the sexual innuendo, which is probably the most common crap that women have to go through with guys, like, guys are not as competitive, it doesn't seem like. They're competitive in different ways, but, like... Like, guys are more like...
I see what you mean.
Like, guys are competitive like in sports. Like, guys got to prove how big their dick is. That's the thing. It's like dick measure. But girls are like...
No.
Girls are like, oh, my looks and my clothes and my success and...
No, that's a misconception. When it comes to female gamers, though, I've actually... I've had that where it's been, like, a competition of, like, oh, like, this person is, trying to get my viewers or something stupid like that. Yeah, that's happened. But at the same time, I've had men get at the fact that, I'm a streamer and I might be doing better than them. Or I'm a gamer and I do better than them in the games. Like,
hey, Siberia says he'll show you his boob for $100.
Oh, God, I don't think I want to see those.
You want to see, and Jago says he'll show you beer for $100. I don't know, I'll take that. I like beer.
Who's gonna give you $100 for that shit? No, but there's definitely been a lot of competition and disrespect from the guys too. So I don't think it has anything to do with, like, guys or gals or even if no one is, conforms to those two. Like, I think it's just a matter of people in general, people in general and what they allow to be important in their lives, right? Because it's good to be competitive in order to push yourself, to give yourself some drive, but it's never good to be competitive to the point where you can't be cool with someone because you're worried about, like, your numbers compared to their numbers. Like, that's not good. If anything, you should take that opportunity to learn from them, to see what you can do better,
Well, I think most, like, for me in this community, I don't know about you or some other people, but I mean, like, I just do this for fun, right? Like, I really, at the end of the day, numbers are great, but I don't really care too much, like, because I never set out to make this, like, my living or anything like that. For me, I love the game, and my reward is like I tell people that, like the people that are here tonight, for example, in the chat, right, that are watching the stream, like they become great friends to me. They're very important people. Like a lot of these people show up on a regular basis. They're just awesome, and they put up with my flaws, and they like my sense of humor, and to me, like that's a reward for me, is just that getting to know great people from different walks of life that share the same enthusiasm. Because up until I did the streaming stuff, I just always like, man, all my friends, like, they don't like games. They're just like into sports or into like typical macho bullshit. But like, I could never find friends that like enjoy the passion of gaming like I did until I started the podcast. And now it's like, man, I didn't know there were so many people out there that love video games like me. And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? And it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can say the same because when I was younger, I've never met female gamers. Like, no one in my family. I think maybe like when I was younger, no one in my family that was a female played games. That's number one. And then when I got older, my other sister started, you know, being interested in gaming and things like that. But not to the point where like I am. Like, you would never, you know, see me talking to my sister about things that we talk about on the podcast, like things like that just doesn't happen. So like, I didn't know female gamers, and so when I started my stuff and I met all these female gamers, it was really cool to be able to like have a conversation with one, and you know, we kind of understood each other, and were able to connect when it came to that stuff, you know. I thought that was a really great aspect to that. But at the same time, you know, everything comes with its negatives.
Sure. Now, I hate to burst all the single guys' bubbles out there that are like, oh, Blue, you know, but your boyfriend is Ice-T, who's playing the game with us right now, correct? Or did
actually, he's my husband.
Oh, he's your husband? Oh, well.
He's my husband, yeah.
Well, there you go, even better. He's your husband. So sorry, guys, you're single out there wondering, hey, you know, maybe I can make inroads with Blue. I don't think she swings that way, but hey. But I just want to say, was that one of the great things about your relationship, too, with TiVo, is the fact that you guys do both play games, you're very interested in a lot of the same titles? Like how cool is that? Because it's very rare to find, like, a boyfriend or a girlfriend these days that are passionate about video games and that you can actually share that hobby with without taking grief, right? Like, you probably get to go off and play your games and he's not like, well, Jesus, Blue, you've been on the fucking game all day, and vice versa, right? So, like, tell us about that.
Okay, so, again, this is something that I've yet to talk about, and so it's cool that's coming out. You have exclusive information, Newf. Look at you. But guys, it's something that has been really awesome, like, because we can understand, like, okay, you know, this is what we enjoy doing, and so we have fun doing it, and there's never any, like, weirdness. I mean, sometimes it happens because, like, we're all human, obviously, but there's never any weirdness when it comes to understanding, you know, when one wants to play this, or when one game comes out, and I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, that game, even if it's a really good game, I'm not going to be like, yeah, we can't get that game, you know, it's different. It's like, it's something we can bond over, you know?
I like that. Pretty cool.
And not many people have that. Not many people have, like, their significant other that they can, like, play games with and have conversation about games with. And
exactly. I think it's awesome.
Enjoyed it.
I mean, my wife has no issues with me playing games. Like, she's, you know, she supports my hobby. She knows I have fun with it. She knows I enjoy it. And she knows that I'm also mature enough that I can still take time away from it or spend time with her when needs be, right? Some people don't. Some people, as soon as they turn on the power button to a console, their significant other is always like, whoa, you're playing that again, and you love that more than you love me, blah, 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 right? They get that bullshit all the time. Luckily enough for me, I don't have that, so that's good. What's going on, Lady Foxfire? Lady Fox up in the house.
Yeah.
Jago, poor Jago. This doesn't like her playing games at all. And I think he's got to share a TV too right now. A couple of nights ago, he wanted to play with us, and I think the TV was hogged, so he had to wait his turn. So, yeah, that kind of sucks, but I mean, that's life, I suppose.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, right? Like, it's awesome. At the same time, it's more expensive. When you have two people in the same household that game, it's more expensive. So thank goodness for game sharing. I will say that, definitely.
Yes, indeed,
definitely.
indeed.
Thank goodness, because There are 2 Xboxes in here. We have 2 monitors. We have a TV. We have, and mind you, this is 2 Xbox One X's. So, yeah, we've been spending a lot of money. But, you know, we're gamers. We're gamers through and through. That's exactly how we met.
Do your friends and family that say are not gamers, do they understand your hobby or support it, or they kind of make fun of you or give you grief? Because I know my parents, my mother always, like, even now I'm 41 and she still treats me like I'm 10. She's like, oh, you're spending money on that garbage again? Like, when are you going to grow up? And it's like, there's such an old-fashioned, like, way to be. Like, when are you going to grow up? Like, everybody associates games that you got to be 10 years old to play them. Otherwise, it's like, what are you doing, right?
Yep, it's true. I mean, I have a family that understand. Like my sister, she'll come to my stream sometimes and she'll, like, you know, hang out, and that's pretty cool. But my other sister's like, you play those games? Like, and I tell them that I stream and that I, you know, like, I do a podcast about games, and they're just all like, what? I don't, like, what do you mean? They don't really get it, you know, and it's fine. I mean, I don't get some of the stuff that they do, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting to see that, yeah, people still have this misconception about, like, gamers, and that when you play a game, like any kind of game, that it's like, it's stupid, it's for kids, it's bad, and especially because I have a younger brother who's like 8 years old, and he plays games. He's really into games.
Yeah.
But he plays big games like, you know, Nintendo, and he has a Switch and a Wii and things like that. So it's different. That's what my mom and my other family associate gaming with, and I try and tell them, like, no, like, this is, you know, more not for kids. Like, it's not the same, and they don't really get it, but they try to understand, I guess, you know, especially when they hear, you know, that I'm getting, like, numbers and that more can come out of it. And when I tell them, like, you know, there's people who have thousands of viewers who are making lots of money, and then they're like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah, Drain said his ex-girlfriend didn't like him playing games, so he came to the conclusion it's not going to work unless she likes games. Yeah, some cases it is. Some games, sometimes, like I said, you're lucky that they either tolerate it or you find a compromise. Yeah. But for some relationships, there just seems to be no compromise. It's like, it's my way or the highway, and that's bullshit. Like, I always tell my wife, and I keep telling her to this day, I said, wife, you need to get more hobbies, because when I'm playing my hobby, you should have a hobby of your own, like, instead of just, hey, let's go do this or that. And plus, then when I finally do take time out with her to go watch a movie, she falls asleep 5 minutes in.
Oh, God. Okay.
You know that feeling or what?
No, we don't fall asleep during movies. That costs a lot of money. We're good. I live in New York City, and it costs like $30 each ticket to, like, go see a movie. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's like $20.
You know how I keep my wife happy, and I'm gonna make you jealous? Like, she gets foot rubs in the movie theater. I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She puts her feet up on my legs, and she gets foot rubs. And she loves it.
That's why she's falling asleep, silly.
No, she don't fall asleep in the theater. She falls asleep when she's at home and watching Netflix and shit. She's like 10 minutes in. Like,
oh, like Netflix?
Yeah. You know.
Aww, she's so tired. No, but I think it's important for your significant other to also have a hobby. Of course, you're not gonna spend every single second with each other. Obviously, like, it's not really healthy to do that. But at the same time, like, it kind of sucks if you can't go and do your own thing without her having her own thing to do, you know? And it goes both ways. There are women who have to deal with, you know, their person not really being into the whole, like, stream world or gaming world too, right? Yeah. And luckily for me, I've had someone that is super supportive and has actually been, he was really into tech, and so he's been really helpful with figuring out what works best for my stream, what works best for my setup, that kind of thing. And so it works. Like, obviously, it's not, everyone's not going to be able to find, like, the perfect thing. Don't think that you have to find a gamer to make it work.
No.
I know people who have boyfriends that game, but their thing is not gaming, their thing is makeup, you know, and they have YouTube videos or things like that of makeup channels, right? So a hobby is a hobby. It's
Hobby's a hobby.
Finding out when you both could do your hobbies, right? That's the idea. The timing has to work.
Yep, it could be his hobby, like how to apply makeup to your asshole. Who knows, right? But
hey man, those makeup channels, those makeup channels
Oh
Those are
no!
a big thing, but whew, those making channels are doing huge things. I almost got into that aspect of it all, of the
All right.
YouTube world, but I went the other way.
Alrighty, so well, we've definitely gone well into the intro stage of the, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, so guys, anyway, like I said, been there, done that. Had some girlfriends in my past that really hated my hobby and gave me grief, but guess what? They're ex-girlfriends, and now I'm married to a great woman that supports me and at least tolerates my bullshit. So there you go. Foxy says all her boyfriends were gamers and they loved that she was a gamer too. Yeah. I'm sure you're going to meet a great guy here pretty soon, Foxy, that's going to definitely appreciate
that's
everything.
how it works. Yeah, statistically, that's how it works, where, you know, men usually...
No, I see
men are really into sports.
I see competitive
some men
things.
really like sports more so.
I was gonna say, I see a lot of competitive stuff online when a girl's kicking a guy's ass, and all of a sudden they're like breaking out, "Oh, you're just a stupid bitch," and blah blah blah. They get pretty angry when you're kicking their ass.
What? All the time. It happens to me even with people that are like supposed to be, you know, like cool. Like no, they don't like when you do better than them.
All right, so let's get into some gaming topics, guys. Unless you have a real quick question, maybe like a life question for Blue, please leave it right now, because we're gonna get into some gaming topics now, kind of bring things back on track. So any questions for Blue right now? You know, ask Blue. The floor is open. She doesn't have the answer. She doesn't like the question, but leave it right now. So that was your time. What is your first Game Down Sites asks, what is your first gaming memory? Well, I think we kind of talked about that, but refresh us in case people didn't catch it.
Yeah, if anything, I have a really bad memory.
Yeah,
so I will say that yes, I have memories of playing Call of Duty when I shouldn't have. I was like probably like, I can't remember, maybe like 8, 10, I don't know, something like that. And I had like, you know, if ever I would talk on the mic, I had grown-ass men telling me what the fuck are you doing to go to bed, or something like that. Or they would find out that I'm a girl and not a guy, and I kick their asses. Oh my god, forget it. It would be over. So I try not to talk on the mic. So I remember, you know, avoiding people being angry at me and things like that. But the good memories are that of me playing on my GameCube, trying to beat Resident Evil 4. Mostly because I tried so hard to beat that game, so it's stuck in my head.
Here's a good one for you, and I don't think I've asked anybody this question on a Mixer podcast. What's your favorite gaming snack? Do you like to chow down on something when you're kicking someone's ass, or what?
So I go through a lot of different kinds of snacks. Like my preferences always change. But right now, I'm super into fruit roll-up. I don't know if anyone still eats those. I don't know why, but I like them a lot.
Fruit roll-ups. What's that? A guy in a gay guy in a sleeping bag?
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist that joke. I had to get it in there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. My bad jokes. Newf going with the no chills. But yeah, that's good, because it's a good thing with those are not too greasy either. Like, well, I love greasy foods, but like I can't eat pizza and play games because my hands will feel like I just fingered somebody's asshole, you know, without the stench. You know what I mean? Your
controller. Ew, what? The fuck? No, that's not how that works. Oh my god, whose asshole have you been touching? I'm sorry, I don't want that.
Foxy's laughing to kill herself. What's going on, Sebasoki7? Thanks for the follow, brother. Thanks for coming in. All right, let's get into some serious questions before Newf fucking turns this into the Off Rails podcast, and I start divulging some weird ass secrets or some shit. Foxy's blocking me. Thought you had that done ages ago, Foxy. I'd probably have 2 followers now if everybody blocked me that said they would. All right, let's talk about some gaming topics. Detroit Become Human is one of the big titles for PlayStation this year. It's coming out in May, so they just divulged the release date. It looks like a pretty cool game if you like Quantic Dream stuff. So, first of all, it is a game that you're interested in, and what do you think about this this bullshit that's kind of going around now? Like, oh, the graphics are downgraded, and of course you got some of the Xbox guys are like trying to make a deal out of it because, well, you know, that's kind of what they do, right? So what's your take on Detroit Become Human and that sort of bullshit that people are trying to start up right now?
Okay, so first of all, like, that was a rumor. I don't know if a lot of you guys, you know, knew that. And here's the thing. I feel like people are so quick as soon as it's something that they are in favor of misinformation, that it becomes a thing where, like, don't you guys feel dumb when later it becomes, like, proven that it was wrong? You know?
Exactly.
Like, I would feel so stupid if I'm like over here like, ha ha ha, this game sucks, and then it turns out, no, the game is awesome. Like, I don't know, I try not to listen to the rumors, you know? And I know it's hard to do that when you're in the gaming world because it's so many rumors, you know, happen. But I try not to let the rumors, you know, like, make me judge things.
Right.
Because oftentimes they're wrong. Like, the rumor was just that, a rumor, and it turns out that someone was an idiot and decided to record it off of the PlayStation Store, which is where they got that footage.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like you guys have to wait for things to come out in order to actually judge it. Yeah. And so whenever I hear anything, I'm just like, oh, okay, if that's true, we'll see, right?
Well, here's the thing. If you like Quantic Dream and everybody knows their games, they've always had really good-looking games no matter what. And like Alan Savage says, it might not be his type of game, but you still can't deny the game is gorgeous looking. I mean, there's story-based narratives that really focus on not only, like, if you notice, their animation systems are really good. Like, facial animations are great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure the game is still gonna live up to. It's not my kind of game either. Like, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of like the Quantic Dream stuff because I like the narratives of their games, but I'm not really like fussy about, you know, press the left trigger, like the QTE kind of feeling that those games have. And they're not the only ones who do QTE games. I'm not a big fan of like QTE games, period. But I still think this game is going to be pretty good. And it doesn't matter about this game or any game. Like, just the fact that it gets so much, like, any game, like you said, that it's not on their preferred platform, they get all this hate. Like, the hate that fucking Sea of Thieves has had to fucking constantly get day in and day out because it's not on their platform. Like, you either don't like it or you do, and that's fine. It's not, I always said Sea of Thieves is not going to be a game for everybody, but it's damn well still going to be a popular game, and it's going to be somebody's cup of tea, you know what I mean? So, like, the hate that games get before they even are out the door is just ridiculous.
I agree. I just feel like no matter what platform a game is on, it needs to be given some time to, you know, show what it's got, right? Because like, you're not gonna know before the game is out if the game is good. It's just not. And the same goes for people that are super excited for games. Like, I understand you're excited, right? But don't, like, for example, people are comparing Fidelity 2. It's obvious Days Gone is gonna be a better game. It's like, come on, really? It's obvious? Really? Because they're not out yet, so what are you doing? Tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just not the type to do that. I'm always the type that I wait for things to come out because I need evidence before I come to a decision. That's just me. And it's just my logical side. And people don't really like it because it doesn't make for, you know, great content. You know, it's not really dramatic and it's not very, like, you know, come to a decision already and things like that. But I'm just a logical gamer. If there's a console that has games that I'm more interested in, then I'm gonna get that console. If there's a game that, you know, I feel works better and plays better on another system, then I'm gonna play it on that system, and that's just how I am. How I've always been.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think gamers in general. I think we're in an age now where just gamers in general, we're way too critical on everything nowadays. I mean, some of it is warranted, But in general, like there's just like some games get trashed before they even hit the market. I mean, we saw what the media basically did, and the perceptions of Quantum Break, right? And most of it was centered around the fact that the game didn't hit 1080p, right? And it's pretty sad when your love of a game revolves around the resolution of it instead of how actually the game is good or not. And sure, did it have lots of cutscenes and stuff in it? But it was still a decent game.
Was like really looked at like really in the negative light because of the same, so just like people crapping on it because of it's not what they were looking for, things like that. Like games really, and we're in an age too where it's really important, like word of mouth and reviews and what people are talking about online makes a big difference sometimes in like how well a game does.
Like Jago in the chat says Days Gone. I mean, realistic, if you've seen the Days Gone trailer, it's a better, more realistic or realized game than, say, State of Decay. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better game, but I mean, it just, to me, I'll agree, even Days Gone looks more intriguing. Like, the thing I think which is going to be an ace in the hole for State of Decay is going to be the co-op factor, right? Because it's pretty awesome to play any type of zombie game with co-op, so that could be the saving thing. So, Detroit Become Human, guys. Like I said,
a trailer.
Yeah, go ahead.
A trailer can definitely make a game look or a movie look or anything look better than it actually is. Let's remember that trailers sometimes look amazing, and the games, the movies or the games are, trash later down the line. Yeah. They both look great. I mean, trailers to me, for the most part, like Detroit Human looks pretty great. I just feel like trailers are easy to make it look better, for me at least. I mean, as a gamer, I can tell when something's gonna be something I'm interested in for the most part, but it's definitely easy to make a game look better in a trailer than it is when it actually is released and you actually play it.
Yeah, I totally agree. They can certainly make trailers look one. We see that all the time at E3. They have this great trailer, and then the game finally comes out, and you're like, that's not how I remember the game looking and playing. But I mean, of course, they show these things off early. They're being developed on fucking super high-end PCs, and it's supposed to be a representation of the game. And for the most part, they're right. It's just, they need to put the fine print under. This is a representation, may not exactly look the way it does, like you often get with disclaimers, right? Yeah. So it is the way it is. So let's move on to the next topic. Detroit Become Human, guys. Like I said, if you're a fan of Quantum Dream, I'm sure it's going to be another hit. I wouldn't worry about graphical downgrades. Game looks good. It's going to be fine. Let's talk about, again, great segue. Let's go into Sea of Thieves. They just completed another successful scale test. Apparently this game was #1 on Twitch, on Mixer, on YouTube. So do you think that's a good sign of Sea of Thieves being a success, or do you think Sea of Thieves is going to ride a very big wave of popularity at the start, pardon the pun, and then basically sink to the bottom 6 or 7 months after the fact? What do you think?
I'm sorry, I cannot pardon that pun. That was horrible. No, I'm kidding. No,
we know that Blue does not like puns, people.
I think Sea of Thieves is going to do well. I think people are enjoying the co-op aspect of it, and I think that people, I think that streams really do help games get, successful and get recognized. I think that if people aren't taking advantage of streamers and like that free publicity, then they're making mistakes in this day and age, because it's I mean, not to say that if it's #1 on Twitch, it's gonna be, it's gonna make like huge numbers, right? Because we all know that to play the beta was, it wasn't that hard to get a beta entry. But at the same time, it's really helpful for them to have all of that publicity, and I think that if they can get that just from, people having interest, it being #1, so that's a big deal. For it to be like #1 on Twitch, a lot of people are streaming, a lot of people are watching other games.
And just think of it, it's #1, and this is a scale test beta, which means it has limited access. It's not an open beta, and yet it's still #1. I mean, outbeating Fortnite, outbeating PUBG, outbeating a variety of other massively big games. I mean, that in itself tells you, people that say, well, nobody's interested in that trash, how can nobody be interested in that trash and it's still number one? I mean, even if it is a short-lived period of time, that obviously still shows you there's an appetite there for the game, and I think Rare is onto something. Like I said, it might be a game that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it will be, I think, a very successful game that will find an audience. And if anybody has really played it, enjoyed it, it's a great game to not only stream it, it's a fun game to co-op with your friends and your family. I've heard dads and moms talk about how it's a great game to play with their kids and get them all on the boat and you know, go find treasure. And it's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. You don't have to worry about a big overfetched story. You don't have to worry about any. Basically, it's like you kind of make your own game at Sea of Thieves. You make it what you want to make it. You know what I mean? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Your adventures are your own. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I mean, it's not the biggest game that I'm excited for this year. God of War is my number one. But I'm still, you know, I think I'm going to... I can't wait for God of War.
I don't like God of War. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say I don't like it. I'm just not, like, interested in it.
Right. Yeah.
Me, myself,
but did you like the old ones,
I'm kind of like, yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't a big fan of the old ones. I would play it just to be like, oh yeah, you know, something to play, whatever, chill, kind of just roll around, flash people, whatever, it's fine. But I wasn't like, oh my god, this game is awesome.
Right.
Because I'm a shooter. Like, it's just what I do. And I can tell because my preference in games, and not because the game is, you know, bad. And that's something that I think a lot of gamers don't know how to distinguish. Like, if you don't have a preference in a particular game, it doesn't necessarily mean that the game is a bad game. You know what I mean? I know you heard it when people are like, oh, that game is trash, but it's only because they don't like it, you know? So I'm able to make that distinction, and you know, it's important to realize I don't like the game, but because I don't like games like that, that's all.
Let me ask a question to everybody that's following the chat right now, guys. Who's excited for Sea of Thieves? Who's picking that game up on March the 20th, I do believe, when it comes out? Love to know. Just SOT. And if you're not interested, you can give the thumbs down low or just say no. I'm just Stinking Corp says he's in. I'm just trying to gauge. I mean, there's about 17 people here right now. Lady Fox is in. Alan Savage is in. Jerane's got it pre-ordered. Christina's in. Lunch Bizzle says he's going to be playing through Game Pass, which is still a valid way to play it. Jago says he's tight for money right now, so it'll be on his to-get list. Maybe somebody will gift it to you, Jago, or maybe you'll be able to win it.
Jago should get Game Pass, but you know, to try it out maybe.
Yeah, I gave him a month of Game Pass. Unfortunately for Jago, he got it mixed up and he actually redeemed his month already. So I told him at least I wanted him to redeem it, like then he would at least have 1 month to play it. But he redeemed it like last month or something. So yeah, but we'll figure it out, Jago. We'll figure it out for you, brother. Between all the community, I'm sure we can rally together. But yeah, so look right there, like 17 people. Most of the people are saying yes, so that's a good sign for Microsoft. And I'd say this game is going to do pretty well, so that's just my thought. So awesome, guys. Great chat on Sea of Thieves. Let's move on to Nintendo. Celebrating their first year anniversary, Blue. Do you have a Switch? I don't know if I've ever asked you that or not.
No, I don't have a Switch. My brother has a Switch, so I kind of like freeload off of him if ever I want to like try it out. But I'm not really interested in. The only game that I would be interested. I'm not gonna buy an entire system for one game. That's why I still don't have my PlayStation again.
Gotcha. That's fair enough. But well, I mean, regardless, I mean, obviously, you know, the Switch is not for everybody, but it seems to be for a lot of people. They're doing really well, outpacing the Nintendo Wii, doing extremely well. Top to MPD once again, almost MPD for almost the entire year, like since March of 2017 when it came out. The Switch has won almost every single month, and that's still impressive considering a lot of those months Switch was on very limited supply too and was hard to find. So kudos to Nintendo, they're doing something right. I don't know, Nintendo always seems to strike lightning in a bottle, don't they? I don't know what the hell it is, but I want to know which fucking genie in a bottle those guys keep rubbing over Japan. Oh, that cardboard, man. That's right, we're gonna be buying those Labos here pretty soon. Fuck yeah. But I mean, you know, just what's your take on the Switch? Most importantly, like, do you think this is a flash in the pan? Do you think it's riding the coattails of success right now, and then it fizzles out a year or two later? Do you think Nintendo's really got a long-term plausible thing? Pink Spartan, thanks for the follow, brother.
I think that if they continue like they have been, like my concern for them was that they released everything that they were thinking for, you know, the first year was out. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they don't continue to deliver it from the coming years, then it's not gonna last. I think that if they, you know, they can definitely keep going for another year. If they do like little bundles and things like that, for sure. But if they're thinking like long term, then they'll need to like continue with the game, because that's really what it comes down to for Nintendo, at least. People are super into the games that they have for them. Because a lot of people are super fans when it comes to those Nintendo games.
Well, I think Nintendo, I mean, basically, obviously, and it's true last year, I mean, a lot of the success is based on the strength of their titles, right? It's like, people know and love Nintendo games, and they generally are top quality. You got to give Nintendo props. When they bring out a game, it's rarely broken. It's usually a top-notch quality game, one way or the other, whether you love them or hate them, right? So they're near and dear to a lot. They run on nostalgia. They run on great games. Last year they had a lot of amazing games, all within so many months of each other. So they did really well. But I think from a lot of people I talk to, and the consensus throughout the community is the wait and see factor is, can they bring the third-party games? Can they get stuff like Call of Duty? Can they get stuff like GTA? And most importantly, how is it online? Because just think of it, Nintendo's online was even close to PlayStation and Sony. Just imagine how much better they'd be doing right now.
I mean, the thing about it though is that the actual console is not that powerful. Right?
No, it's not.
Like what? What's the resolution? Like, it's not going to be able to do games that are like super heavy on the system. So like, it's definitely not a hardcore gamer system.
No,
and I don't expect them to realize. I expect them to be aware of that, and I expect them to, you know, be smart about what they're releasing, and like only come out with games that, you know, work for them, which is games like the ones they have now. Definitely not something that I wouldn't expect them to have like a Call of Duty or anything like that. I mean, they did do like the Doom thing, but I wouldn't call that like a super, you know, heavy.
Well, I've heard that a lot of companies are rethinking about their, because Nintendo's obviously surprised a lot of the third parties with their massive like install base in just a year. So I think Activision and Take-Two and are starting to reconsider this. I guess bottom line, it is like how it's a lot of the fit for third parties is how quickly can they port a game, or how quickly can they develop a game, because I said they're right now most of the developers are making games for, you know, consoles that are far more powerful than the Switch, so they have to do a lot of like tweaking and scaling it back. It's like Capcom just recently said that the current Monster Hunter World, for example, as it is, it would be a very tough game to get on the Switch. But now there's a developer called Iron Galaxy who were the ones who did Killer Instinct for the Xbox, and they did a few ports as well, that have said they're willing to actually try attempting the game if Capcom will give them the go-ahead. So that could be interesting. Like, you know, we saw that Doom actually worked, and that's a pretty graphically intensive game. It ran at a lower resolution and frame rate overall, but I mean, the fact that it even runs on the Switch is still impressive. So that bodes well for the system. It actually has, while it's not as powerful, it still is, you know, it still is better than people give it credit for, right? And I think it's because developers are also getting used to making like stuff, like, first of all, it runs on a Tegra, right? And the Tegra chipsets have been in like tablets for so many years now, so a lot of developers are squeezing like every ounce out of the Tegra chips, and we'll probably see that with the Switch. But I don't know, bottom line is, hey Luca, what's going on? She put the eyeballs in the chat, so usually means somebody's looking spooky or something. I don't know, maybe it's all this Nintendo Switch talk. She's not keen on that. But anyway, I think it will do good, but I do think, you know, right now it'll fizzle out. That's my thought.
I think if they don't stay on the same path, then yeah, it's definitely gonna fizzle out. Definitely. Hi, Luca.
What's going on, everybody?
But that's the thing. they definitely came. They came into, they came into the room like throwing punches. Like they released all these exclusives, like, and now with the Labo idea, like they're not
Yeah.
holding anything back. So my thing is,
No.
if they're like throwing everything they've got into it, and then if they're gonna just like run out of ideas, you know what I
Right.
mean? But it
Mm-hmm.
looks like they might not, at least not for year two. Not for year two, not with this Labo thing. Like they can do a lot of things with that part of
Sure.
of it all. But I think as long as they keep coming out with games, I think they'll be fine. Like people are really into the fact that you can travel with it.
Yeah,
And
I think it's
honestly,
a
like
big
that's
thing.
one of the reasons why I almost got it, because it's different, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, I
Where
agree.
if it's different than your other stuff, then that's good.
Um.
Um,
Okay, cool.
but we
No
will see.
VR talk tonight,
We'll
people.
see.
Don't worry about that. No VR talk in this
No.
conversation tonight. So
I'm not
you'll be happy to
interested in
know.
VR.
Well, here's one that's this one's kind of been going around lately, and I've been accused of this too a little bit, but about like Xbox fans getting a little bit, I wouldn't say salty, but Xbox fans kind of getting a little growing tired of Xbox lately, and the fact that they really haven't given us a tidbit. They haven't even given us so much as a nipple to suck on the last couple of months in terms of news. It's been all like fucking
Oh God.
controllers and services and game plans. So
Oh,
what
the
do you
controllers.
what do you think about what do you think about the are Xbox fans justified by speaking out now, or do you think they're just being overreactive
Yes.
and jumping the gun? What do you think?
No, I think that if people are spending money on something, then they are totally entitled to their opinion when it comes to critiquing what they're spending money on, because that's how you get a company to do better. At least that's what I think.
Yes.
I think that if they're not giving you what you want, then make your voice heard. That's all. And I think that what the problem is that they see the competition, the direct competition, and so they're just wondering like, okay, where's our stuff, right? Like that's usually how it happens. Where this where Sony had their little dry spell, people were really upset with Sony, and so now it's like Microsoft has their dry spell, so now Microsoft fans are annoyed, and that's how it goes. Like it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, just keep in mind, guys, last generation, same thing. If you recall last generation of 360 had a great start out of the gate. They had a lot of stronger titles than PlayStation, and then Microsoft made that switch around the time that they brought the Kinect out, and all of a sudden our top quality games kind of dried up for a little bit. And from 2008 to 2010, PlayStation practically owned it. Games like Uncharted 2 and Infamous and a whole bunch of other games that came out and really took control, So, yeah, thanks, Hoods, for the follow. Hoods 1989, thanks for stopping by. But, yeah, so keep in mind that, that Microsoft, Phil's had his time now. He's had a couple of years. A lot of it was reworking the deals, hardware. I think the hardware setbacks really put the division behind, too, because they were trying to put the original Xbox sort of behind them in the rear mirror, and now they're focusing more on the X and the next generation hardware. So, I agree. Like, some Xbox fans might be going a little too hard.
Oh wow.
I think some are maybe too
Yeah,
hard.
I think people.
Like some guys are like vehement, like, well, you're hearing guys talking like, I'm going to get rid of my Xbox and fuck this shit, and I'm, like they're getting like.
Man, that's stupid.
And that's just like, man, no, like, don't be like that. You know what I mean?
See, the thing about that too is that you have to kind of remember that some people do this shit for attention, right? So there's that part, right, where it's like, are you for real, or are you just, being dramatic, right? Because there's a lot of people who are just being ridiculous. But at the same time, yes, it makes sense that, a fan will be kind of disappointed, and just because a fan is disappointed doesn't mean that you have to like take their Xbox card away. What is this like an exclusive club, and that if you talk badly about it, then you're gonna be shunned? Like, this is not how this works, people. It's a freaking piece of plastic. It's a company like other companies, and so with companies you have to hold them accountable, and it's fine. Like, they're not going to lose money, or they're not going to like go out of service because people are critiquing them. So if anything, if they're a good company, which they've been around for forever, so they should know this. If they're a good company, then they'll take what the fans are saying and apply it. And then we'll see, you know, if they do that, then we'll see what comes of it. And honestly, I'm the type, I've seen it happen where PlayStation didn't have games, and then Xbox didn't have games, and then PlayStation didn't, like, it's just this back and forth thing, and it's like...
Alan Savage brings up a good thing in the chat, too. Like, he says people are always, and some of those same people are complaining that, you know, their backlog is so crazy jammed, but then they're not playing those games. Like, really, to be honest with you, like, most of us all have massive backlogs right now. So the fact that we're crying out so much for more games, it's like, I'm kind of the opposite. It's like, slow down. Let us keep up with these games. Let us enjoy the ones we just paid $60 and $70 and $80 for, because, I mean, most of us, like, have games now from last fall we haven't barely touched, you know what I mean? And, like, so why is this, this
let's be honest,
push, you know? Yeah.
The people that are upset about, like, the no exclusives and things like that are people that want to see Microsoft do well, right? They're a particular kind of fan that are Xbox people, and they are, like, concerned that Xbox is right now being looked at negatively because there's no games. Those are the people that are concerned about it. People who are spending all the money, like all the casuals that have Xboxes and things like that, like, they're not worried about that, right? Like, people, why are you concerned about no exclusives? Because it's most likely not because you actually want to play the exclusives. It's because you want Xbox to be able to sell, right? And personally, I'm not concerned with a company's money. So I'm good. I'm playing games. I have games that I'm playing, and I'm not worried about exclusives right now. I'm not worried about games in terms of, like, what company has, like, the more exclusives. I'm more worried about, like, if I'm going to be getting this game or that game and what I'm gonna get it on. Like,
exactly.
You know?
I mean, the exclusives they're gonna come, right? It's just a matter of time. We're gonna get the games. But that's the thing, though. Like, how do you feel about this E3? Do you feel that it's a little bit like make or break for Microsoft, where they got to show the goods this E3, even if that means showing video of games that are a bit further out than Phil likes to show? Is that what they got to do just to keep the faith? Because I personally think they do. Like, I think they have to show us something. They can't just be like, well, we don't have a lot to show you, and if we did, we can't show you because it's a bit too far away. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think they got to keep Xbox fans riding. They got to give us something to feel good about the brand going into, like, 2019, because we're not that far away now from the next batch of consoles, and we're going to want some strong titles to kind of finish up this generation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for the hardcore fans, yeah, they're gonna have to give them something in order to, like, keep them happy, obviously. But it just seems like people can't do anything right, you know? Like, people are concerned about, you know, the type of games that are coming out. Like, Sea of Thieves is coming out, but it's too cartoony, right? Because now PlayStation has these, like, more people keep calling them mature, but I don't particularly think that it makes the game more mature. But whatever, mature looking game. You know, so people are concerned, and, like, I understand, but I kind of feel like
in the chat, Clement's in the chat, and he said G4G is saying they think the next generation will start to 2021. And honestly, I hope they're right. I'm not ready to, after spending like almost $1,500 in Xbox consoles already, and just since 2013, like, yeah, I'm not ready for the next. I got so many games to play right now. I don't feel like the graphics are going to be a heck of a lot better than what we're seeing, per se, in some regards. So, like, I'm not ready to move on to another freaking console gen yet, you know? So, like, take your time, finish strong. Hopefully 2021 is before we see any more consoles, but I don't know.
Look, I gotta be honest with all of you. Like, honestly, I don't give that much of a fuck. I'm more just like, all right, let's see what good games are coming out, and that's it. Like, I'm not the type to only play on one platform, so I guess that's why I'm like that. That helps, but at the same time, I mean, I understand the concerns. You know, people really want their platform to do well, and that's fine. But I'm not crying about it.
No, I'm not crying either. I mean, I got all three systems. I'm taking care of games-wise. You know, Nintendo's in it for the long haul. They've stated that the Switch is hopefully a 10-year project for them, and if sales continue to be strong, and Nintendo's probably going to make 500 revisions of the Switch anyway, different colors and bigger control sticks or some fucking thing with Nintendo. Maybe they'll attach a cardboard box onto the fucking Switch, those guys. Your Nintendo Switch now comes with its own cardboard controllers. I mean, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, man, we got games. We got lots of good games. Let's just enjoy them, and whether you own one system or you own them all, enjoy what you got, because there's plenty to play. Whether it's old games, new games, and even the old games are new to somebody, right? So just play them and enjoy them.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly my theory. I just feel like if you're a true gamer, right? Which is subjective, I'm aware. But if you really like games, then you'll play the game. That's really what it comes down to, And if you feel like there's no games that are out right now or you've played every single game that you feel like you like, then I can see the issue there. But so far, I haven't had anybody or heard of anybody that's in that situation. Like, there's usually a backlog, and there's usually a game that was re-released that they haven't tried yet, that kind of thing. So I think it's all about preference. I think it's all about what people want to complain about.
Yeah. Christina's in the chat saying she thinks that Microsoft is doing it right. She thinks that, like they should be focusing on the game that's coming out instead of trying to jump the gun and take the spotlight away from the game that's, coming up. Like Sea of Thieves, right? Like they could easily be talking about State of Decay, but State of Decay is after Sea of Thieves. Same with Crackdown. So I kind of get what she's trying to say, right? Hardcore gamers play on Game Boy.
Like, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah, focus on what marketing muscle might be.
That's the thing. I think that's what Phil is doing. Like that's what is happening, and so I think people are kind of like, oh, but why are you doing that when Sony's doing the opposite? I think that's why people are so concerned, because they're like, well, they're jumping the gun and they're saying this is coming out and that's coming out and this is coming out, right? But no release date or.
Oh Jesus! I mean, Sony is so extreme to the opposite side that if they could put a fucking Sony branded label on your baby as you're giving birth, they would fucking promote that shit. Sony be like, your baby brought to you by PlayStation, the best place to play. Marketing the shit out of everything. And that's the thing, where if you compare to one thing, then you're gonna be like, you're gonna think about what you're missing, right? You're not gonna think about what you're getting. That's the problem with all that stuff. And people do that they do that often. They often do the whole like comparing it to this, or oh man, but they're doing this, so we should be doing it too. And that's not really that great for people who really get concerned, But everyone reacts the way that they do, and honestly, I'm not too concerned. I'm fine. Well, let's move on to the next topic, and let's talk about the success of one of Sony's biggest games of 2017. One of the biggest games in general last year. A highly acclaimed game. I think you know where I'm going with this one, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I bought this game day one. I was super excited about it. I mean, not only does it have a fantastic female protagonist as the lead, but I just love the art design. I love the story. There was so much to love about the game. The play control was top notch. And coming from a developer who spent, the better part of a decade making Killzone games, I'd say major success for them. 7.6 million, that's what they're touting as being sold across the platform. And that's pretty impressive. So what's your take on Horizon Zero Dawn? Are you impressed by that number? I mean, you hear lots of people, oh, that's all it got, 7.6 over 70 million consoles. You get that bullshit too, right? It's like, well, fucking Xbox games have 40 million. They're lucky to do 3 or 4 million. So,
I think that's a good number. I don't think we should take away from people celebrating, something that they're happy about. Like, that's ridiculous. And I think that, especially for a game that has a female protagonist, like that's pretty big. People do not buy games that have female leads. Like, there's an issue with gamers that they don't like playing females. I don't know if you heard of this. I've actually witnessed it, and I mean, I think it's a good thing. I don't see the issue. So I think that it's important and it also helps for us, like for people that are huge with like Xbox it helps you too, because if Xbox people notice that this is doing well, this kind of game is doing well, then Xbox will say maybe we should release something that is similar, right?
Right.
And then that's where your exclusives come from, where people see, oh, this is doing well, so then maybe we should do something like it. So I don't think we should like shit on something that, you know, if it's not on your platform, you know, you not be happy about it and things like that. I think it's awesome, and I'm hoping that, you know,
I mean, some
do as well too.
Some people in the Xbox community, it sounded like when they complained about the game, it was almost like you could hear like their complaints weren't like legitimate valid complaints. It felt like fanboyism complaints. Like what the stuff that they pick out about the game was just bullshit that, you know, that you'd get from a fanboy. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, yeah, well, I didn't like this about the game. Like it was a legitimate complaint. It felt more just like, yeah. I mean, I bought it day one. I loved it. Fantastic game. To me, Horizon Zero Dawn.
I have yet to play it, but
Horizon Zero Dawn for me was as much of a system seller for PlayStation as what Uncharted 2 was back in the day, if that makes any sense. Somebody might disagree with me, and that's fine. And sure, I do know people that generally played Horizon and were like, I don't get what the big deal about it is. But mind you, I felt that way about Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I liked the game, but I couldn't see like what the big fucking, you know, how it was winning all the Game of the Year awards, because there's stuff about it I just didn't like. But like, again, to each their own, right? Opinions on games are always subjective. One man's trash is another man's treasure, or one woman's treasure is another man's trash. Whatever you want to call it here, right? I think it was a great game, and I'm happy for them, and a new IP too, right? A new IP doing 7-point-something million is impressive. It's not a game that had a backlog, right?
Exactly, and when a game has history, then it does better, right? If it has a history of doing well. And that's something that, like, for example, Nintendo, we were talking about Nintendo earlier, that's something that Nintendo relies on, where it's like games that have history, have the nostalgia factor, are being released, and then, like, you know, they'll make numbers. So this is a new game. It's impressive, and it shows developers not to be afraid to take a chance, right? And that's what we want. We want developers to see that.
And let me just put it out there, all you Xbox fans out there, when Gears of War 6 ultimately comes, if it doesn't outsell fucking Horizon Zero Dawn within the first, 8 or 9 months, yeah, exactly, then you know what? Shame on Xbox owners, right? Because as I said, Xbox owners are famous for wanting all these games, and they don't support. Because if the support was there, why didn't Quantum Break was a phenomenal game. It was definitely worth an 8 in ratings.
I enjoyed Quantum Break.
It was.
I don't know
why did that game? Why that game should have easily done 5 million out of launch, easily. Okay. But it didn't. And why didn't it? Because Xbox fans talked about big shit, but they didn't put their money where their mouth is. So that's the thing, guys. Don't hype up a fucking game and then all of a sudden you just, I won't get it. Or you know what? I'll get it when it's...
about no exclusives and then not purchase the exclusives.
Or I won't get it.
Yeah,
or I'll buy it, but I'll buy it when the game's a year old and it's fucking $20 in a bargain bin. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing your job by fucking waiting. Now, mind you, it's going to be trickier now because these games are going to go on Game Pass. So that's really going to be interesting because no longer are they going to be looking at sales. They're going to be counting user numbers, right? Which is going to be really interesting from here out. You know, like Sea of Thieves, you're going to hear Microsoft say, well, yeah, we got 4 million concurrent users. They're not going to say we got 7 million copies. They're going to be like, no, we got 6 or 7 million people playing the game. So, it's just potentially a sale, right? It's a sale, but not a sale. Because the bottom line is, the more people that play a game on Game Pass, whether they're paying $10 a month or $70, it's good for the game. The more people playing it means more exposure it gets, and the more chances they're going to sell DLC or microtransactions. It's just common logic, right? Not to mention that Microsoft gets that automated $10 or $12 a month from you anyway. So, like, win-win, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Win for the fans or win for the developers.
I think that's why they're doing it, because people are more inclined to do services sometimes, like especially now, than they are to do.
Well, here's a good example. Let's take Cuphead. Let's take Cuphead for example, right? Cuphead did phenomenally well, and so it deservedly did well because it was a fantastic game. But my question for anybody here in the chat: how many people would have bought Cuphead if it was $70? Over the $30 price point or whatever it was they charged? I want to know, honestly, would you have paid $60 if they had to charge it? Because if your answer is no, then basically Game Pass is perfect because the low entry price for Cuphead had as much to do with the success, I think, as the game itself had to do with success. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If people have less of a risk to take, then they're willing to try it. That's the thing
Absolutely.
about that.
How many games have I bought on my
I
Xbox that I wouldn't have bought at full price because they were on sale, right? Like Metal Gear Solid 5, I wouldn't have never paid $50 for that game or $60. But you know what? I wholeheartedly dropped like the 30 on it when it was on sale, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think people fail to realize that when they talk about, you know, like them not liking the fact that all these exclusives are going to be on Game Pass. You have to remember that Microsoft is a business. They know that subscriptions are doing well, so they're going to try and make their money. If they see that their exclusives are not selling, then yes, they're going to take the chance to put them on their subscription service because more people are willing to pay $10 a month and be like, oh, it's only $10 a month. Oh, that's nothing. And little do they know, a year passes and they already have paid $120 to, you know, to Microsoft. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay. You know, but it was in a little bit at a time, so it's different.
Exactly. Great topic so far, guys. Thank you so much for everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Hope you're enjoying this fantastic 11th episode, mixing it up with Newf, myself, and Blue Rendezvous. Yeah, so like Spider-Man says he wouldn't buy Sea of Thieves full price. That's cool. I would buy it full price because I don't plan on buying Game Pass. But again, like I said, somebody is going to think Sea of Thieves is going to be the best game ever, and there's going to be lots of fans that are like, eh. And that's cool. You're not right or wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody's right or wrong of how they feel.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, obviously. It's just that I feel like it needs to be an opinion that, like, if it's something like, oh, it's not a game that's for me, then alright, that's fine. But if you're gonna go around and be like, that game is trash, and I ask you why, and you're just like, I don't know, it just is. It's like, really? Really? I've encountered that so much lately, that people just shit on a game for no reason, and it kind of angers me, because I'm just like, what are you doing? That's so ridiculous to me, especially if you're someone who has, like, a platform, right? If people like that are like podcasters or people that are, you know, have a following and they do that. It's like, it's so irresponsible because it's like, hello, like you should be a little bit more, you should have more information, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you're entitled to your opinion too, but at the same time, it's important for people to make informed decisions. And if they're, I mean, if you're listening to your favorite gamer be like, oh yeah, this game sucks, so I'm not gonna get it, and then you don't get it without doing some research, then you're also an idiot. But I don't know. When I speak to people, I just like to hear informed decisions as opposed to just like, oh, I just don't like it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, speaking of things not to like, and I didn't have this one on the topics list, but I really got to get your take on this, Blue. It's been making lots of waves the last couple of days, and that is Metal Gear Solid Survive. Okay, apparently it's not selling as well as they'd hope, but I'm more curious to know what do you think of those guys putting in a fucking save slot and charging users $10 for an extra? I mean, microtransactions are one thing, but that's ridiculous. Could you imagine back in like the fucking 90s if you had to pay like $10 on a Mario game for an extra save slot? Like, you'd be like, what the hell is this? So
I'm over here like looking at, like, I'm just, what is happening? You know, like the audacity to just be like, yeah, pay us $10 for your save slot. It's fine. You'll live. It's like, what? And honestly, I think that we have to, as gamers, we have the responsibility to be like, no, and to show that with what we spend our money on, right? Because if they are making money, then they're not going to care, you know? Like, of course they're going to keep doing it if they're making their money.
Like, even if the game is decent, okay? Even if it's decent, like, you almost need to boycott it just because of that bad, shady business practice. You know what I mean? Like, you'd hate to boycott or not buy a game that deserves your money, but by buying it regardless, because say it was the best game in the world, but they still charge you for the save slot. Like, then if they sold 10 million copies, they wouldn't care about getting rid of that save slot. Do you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh well, some stupid bugger will buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there always is.
I don't know. I feel like that's so annoying.
Yeah,
like it's so annoying. I hate that so much.
I feel like they've hit a new low now. Like, a save slot is something that's always been in a game. They should be charging for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. That's
Exactly.
what are they going to do? Like the photo mode in games now, they're going to start charging for that too. Like, oh, you can't take a photo unless you pay $5 to use the mode and share it. Like what are we coming to? And the thing is, how does this shit even get approved in a boardroom meeting? Because every single one of us in this chat and on this panel are obviously like, this is a bad idea. So my thing is, who was the idiot that greenlit this shit, thought this was going to be good, this was going to be okay with gamers? They knew it was going to stir the pot. Maybe they did that almost to get more publicity, because it's like, hey, nobody's paying attention to our game anyway, so maybe bad press is good press. Like, who the fuck knows? I don't know, but it's terrible.
It's like so annoying to me that like people are just. And the thing about it too is that if I don't know if people are actually doing it, you know, because that's a whole nother issue. If they're spending the money to do this, then yeah, it's gonna be something that other games think of doing, right? And that's the problem. If we allow it to happen, then who's to blame? Is it the companies or is it us?
Exactly.
The gamers that are actually paying freaking $10 for a freaking save slot. Oh my god, never. Oh my god.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
If that was like the every game thing, like I don't know if I could be a gamer anymore.
See, that's part of the problem,
maybe
right,
I'm
Blue?
saying this ahead.
Like, the thing is, I think there's a lot of educated gamers out there, but I think the problem with the educated gamers, I think we're the vocal minority. I think, like, there's not enough of us that...
Oh, for sure.
Like, we speak our mind, but the bottom line is, here's the thing, right? Like, just to take the phone game industry for example. The phone game industry is huge right now. Like, everybody's making a phone game, usually the free-to-play model, and then they sell you all those bullshit transactions, the micros, right? And the bottom line is, we're not the ones buying those phone games, right? Like, the majority of us don't buy them. We don't buy the transactions because they're just not worth it. But the problem is, there's 10 million kids out there putting billions of dollars, and you know it's mostly the kids, right? They got the cell phone, their mom's giving them the credit card, or they're buying those little game cards at the store, and they're spending billions. Like, it's a fucking fact. That's the reason this shit exists, because somebody out there, it's not me, it's not you, but somebody is spending billions on this bullshit, and every video game company's trying to get a piece of the pie. Now, the only thing is, it doesn't work so well in the big AAA space, right? That's the problem. When it comes to console gaming and the AAA game space, they don't get it that this shit doesn't fly with the people that want those games, right? But they're trying it. That's the thing. They're trying to see how much they can get away with before they get called out, and we saw that with Battlefront, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, like
Battlefront, where it's like they're just like, okay, let's see how much we can get away with, and then we'll deal with the repercussions later. And that wasn't what it was like before they would actually like hesitate to do anything that would like piss off the community, because they're just like, you know, this is what is making us money. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm not liking all this like pay for everything kind of thing. Like, I understand the microtransactions that, you know, are kind of pointless, like ones that don't affect anything, right? Because like people like to show off and people like to be different, kind of like what Fortnite is doing, where all these like things and like dances and emotes and things like that are there for you to spend your money on, and they're making a killing off of that. They really are.
Exactly.
But
Salty, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining the podcast. Salty, you got a review coming up of what, dude? Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Revengeance? Thanks, man. Thanks for the revive. Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but yeah, we do have to speak out. We have to stay vocal. We have to stay vigilant, because if we buy into it, it's going to keep coming at us, and it'll only come at us in larger chunks. You know, we saw what happened when people bought into the overpriced map packs for Call of Duty. They just kept coming, right? They didn't stop and go, oh, wait, our map packs aren't selling because maybe we charged too much. Problem was, everybody said, fuck it, we're still going to buy it. It's like people that every year they go, hey, I'm not going to buy Call of Duty because they're sick of it, but then fucking November rolls around, and guess what everybody does? Well, my friends bought it, and I gave in, and I bought it. And this is what happens with Call of Duty year after year. You know, how many people did I hear, I'm not getting that Advanced Warfare. What was it, the one that came out last year? Infinity Warfare, whatever the fuck, Infinite Warfare? People were like, no, I won't buy it. But they gave in, and they bought it. Hey, you know what? I'm guilty as charged. I wasn't going to buy it, and I tell you why I bought. why I bought the Call of Duty one, Infinite Warfare, was because it came with I bought the Legendary Edition. It came with the Modern Warfare Remaster, which in itself was almost as bad because they gave you, not only did they give you the Modern Warfare Remaster, which is fine, it's a great game and it deserved a remaster and that's cool, but they charge you full price for the game on the shelf, and then they don't give you all the maps. They still charge you for the map packs to an old game. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what is this shit? Like, and Activision's the only people that get away with this time in and time out. Like, if you're going to give somebody the definitive edition of a remastered game, you give them all the content. You don't fucking charge them again $20 for a map pack to an old game. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know. The game companies are getting twisted as fuck.
Here's the thing, too. The thing that we forget sometimes, too, is that they're trying to make money, right? Which is understandable. But I think that they can do it they can do it the right way, right? They can figure out a way to make it so that they make their money so that doesn't affect the game itself, right? And the thing about that is that like the prices for games haven't changed for a really long time. Long time, right? We've been paying $60 for games for a while now, but the price of a dollar, or you know,
the development costs have gone up a lot.
And the value of a dollar has gone down. Or wherever you live, the value of the money has gone down. So it's like, we have to remember that aspect of it, right? But I don't necessarily think that this is the way to go about it. If you are giving people advantages in games, or if you are interfering with the way the game runs and plays, then that becomes a problem. And I mean, they need to be creative if they want to go ahead and make money. That's all. Yeah. And I don't think that's too much to ask for creators to be creative. What?
Jago in the chat, I want to say one, like, I'm talking about Infinite Warfare. I mean, Infinite, like, most of the Call of Duty games, the campaign parts alone are not bad. Like, they actually produce pretty quality games. I don't remember ever playing a COD game that I thought was absolute trash. You know, some of the multiplayers are a little questionable. But, you know, my point with the Infinite Warfare was I had a lot of people that, remember when they announced Infinite Warfare and they were saying, like, hey, we're going into space or whatever, and everybody got up in arms, and it had the lowest pre-sale numbers. They had the lowest pre-sale numbers of any Call of Duty game ever, right? It was a fact. You know, sure, fuck, they dropped the cost of that game. So I'm just trying to say, like, I'm not trying to say that the game was shit or any of them were shit. I'm just saying a lot of people would come out online and say, I'm not buying it, I'm boycotting it, I'm sick of Call of Duty, and then the moment the game comes out, they're like, well, I had to get it because, you know, that's all I'm saying. It's like, you know, people just, they eat their words like fucking dung beetles eat shit, you know what I mean? Like, they're just always going back on it, so. But it is what it is, man. You like Call of Duty, great. I don't give nobody flack for liking it. No more than I give flack for anybody that likes Super Lucky Stale, or they like whatever the fuck they like. It's what you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a game for me, but you like it. It's fine. I don't know.
I got people that can't stand like, Gears of War, and I'm like, what? I'm like, really?
Yeah,
but whatever.
Of course. Oh my God, there's so many people that hate Gears. It's like,
that game is trash. That game is fucking trash.
All right. Oh my God. Yeah, all you do is shotgun. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice.
So, let's face it.
I can't like the game then?
Let's face it, too, when it comes to multiplayer, some people just hate games they suck at, and that's a fucking fact. Because you'll notice if they're good at a game, they're like, oh, this is the best game ever. They're fucking, I love this game. Yeah. I rule at it. I rape, you know, I kick so much ass at it. I was going to use that shitty ass word. Yeah. My apologies.
I know. I was gonna kill you.
I was like, no. But
no, you're fine. You got yourself. That's
I was trying to make. Well, that's what they say, right? But I shouldn't use that word. My apologies.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're like, oh, I kick ass at it, right? So then they love the game when they kick ass, and the moment they suck, they're like, oh, this game is trash. The multiplayer doesn't work. I had a buddy like that. I know hey, Ant-Man Beast, what's going on, brother? No, literally, guys, I have this friend who's on my friends list, and I've known him for years, and we play games together. And he'll buy a game, and he loves games for like the first week. He's like, this is the best Gears of War game I've ever played. It's so fucking good. I can't believe it. And then all of a sudden, you know, like the community starts coming on. People buy the game and they start getting better at it. And all of a sudden he starts to suck. Guess what happens? Every game, and I mean every game he plays, he's like, he loves it the first week. And by the second week, he's like, this game is trash. I can't stand this game. Like, it's broken as fuck. Epic, you gotta get your shit together. Like, everything runs like fuck. And I'm like, and we just sit and laugh at him, right? Because it's like, we know what's gonna happen. You're gonna get your ass kicked because, face it, there's people out there much better than you, and you can't aim worth a fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then you hate the game, and it's like, no, it's nothing wrong with the game, right? You just need to get fucking better at it. You know, like I'll tell people I suck at a lot of shooters.
Get good, bro.
Get good. Get good.
Get good, bro.
But anyway, I'm getting off topic here.
But,
We're just,
yeah, I've seen that happen.
But anyway, yeah. All right, guys. So we're coming pretty much to the end of the show. So now it is
yeah.
kind of running out of topics. So now it is the open question time. So any questions from you guys in the chat? Now is the time to drop them on Blue. And like I said, if your questions are not too offensive or vulgar or anything else, she'll answer them. And yeah, so keep it clean.
Oh, God.
You know.
The fact that you have to say that is, you know, but
well,
it's true. It has to happen.
It's a Newf
people
podcast,
try and get
right?
a little cheeky. Yeah, cheeky bastard.
I mean, I might ask you a question like, have you ever used a douche kit before? You know, that's the kind of person I am.
Oh my God! I'm gonna kick you in the head. That's ridiculous. Stop it.
What's your favorite food, Blue, from Jago?
Like, well, have you?
Yes, I have. I've swabbed my asshole
favorite
many
food,
times. Comes handy.
Personal information.
Hey, you know, sometimes those old Henry bars, those peanuts get stuck.
Oh God! Oh God! No! I'm not ready for this nonsense. This is a Newf Nukem podcast, though. I should have expected that shit.
Jago wants to know what's your favorite food.
My favorite food is, I think, pizza.
Pizza.
I really, really enjoy pizza.
What's your favorite topping on a pizza? What will you not? What will you not put on a pizza? And I don't mean TiVo.
I would not put pineapple on my pizza. It's just not.
Yay!
I can't. I'm
Yes, I'm with you. I hate pineapple.
I don't like it.
To me, that's
I like to have my sweet food separate from my, you know, salty food.
Yes, I agree. That would be like putting
but guys,
apples.
I make an amazing lasagna. Oh my God, my lasagna is like, I just love it.
Christina can't believe what you just said. Jago loves pineapple in his pizza. Stinker Corpse agrees with us, I think. I think that's what he's agreeing to. And personally, me putting pineapple on pizza would be like me putting apple slices on a fucking hamburger. Like, it just don't belong.
Stop that fucking shit, man.
I just don't, I don't really like, I like my fruit to be like by itself, you know, like after I eat, and then, you know, just kind of, but I'll put like, you know, chicken, sausage. I cannot eat spicy food, so no pepperoni for me. Not happening. Yeah. No spicy, nothing. Someone tried to make me like dinner once. Someone tried to make me dinner once, and they put like a little bit of chipotle powder in or something. Right. I was like, is this spicy? And I was like dying. I was like, I need water. And she was like, I'll put like a dash. And I was like, I cannot. My tongue is super sensitive.
Well, what's your favorite pizza place? Like, I mean, franchise or smaller pizza place? You know, like, from the big franchises, which one do you order from?
Oh, from the big
Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's.
No, I live in New York, guys. I live in New York City. We have the best pizza here. I do not need to be ordering from like these franchises. I'm sorry, but they ruined the pizza. I gotta say.
Yeah, well, they give you cheap ass pizza.
If it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, then I'll order from maybe Domino's, I guess. But it's not the best.
Right. But okay, so Domino's
Once
is
you
one
have
of
New
your
York City pizza, you're just like, oh wow.
What is your most memorable? Here's a good question. What is your most memorable stream that you've done? That's from Alan Savage.
Oh, good question. My most memorable stream, I know I can't talk, is, let me think. Maybe my stream moment will have to be when, I really love when my community because on Twitch you can take these clips, and my community is very into like making fun of me, and so I especially love when they take clips of me doing silly things, and so anytime that happens, and it doesn't always happen every single time that I stream, but anytime it happens where a funny clip was taken, I think that's like my most memorable moment, because I can like see what they're seeing and laugh with them, you know, and like it connect with them when it comes to that.
Well, according to a podcast I was watching the other day, I heard you collect lint.
Oh god, the guys like to start trouble with me all the time. But
yeah, I noticed that people like to razz on you a lot.
Yeah, we do that a lot, and I mean it's fine. I don't mind it.
Right.
As long as you can take a joke, you know.
So absolutely.
But yeah, I really like connecting with people, and that's what the stream is about. We kind of like, we've built a little like family, and we have like a Discord, and we kind of just like make jokes all day long, and it's fun. I like having fun.
Jago wants to know, do you like Chinese food, and if so, what's your favorite dish?
I love Chinese food, but I will have you know that in New York City, Chinese food is not the same. Like there are authentic Chinese places and there are not. So if we're talking about authentic Chinese, then I mean I like plain fried rice, like a super easy when it comes to that.
Right.
Chicken, of course, chicken fried rice, and I have a Chinese friend. My best friend is Chinese, and her father makes the best fried rice I've ever had in my entire life. It's delicious.
You mean to tell me you don't like the cream of some young guy?
Nah, we're not getting fancy. I don't like anything that I can't pronounce. No, I'm just kidding. No,
you didn't get that joke, did you? You didn't get that joke, did you? You don't like the cream? Know what you said. You don't like the cream of some young guy?
Ew! I didn't even know what you said. What is this dish that he speaks of? Oh god. I'm done with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I cannot.
Lady Foxfire is fucking shitting herself laughing.
Just when I think you're being serious. Just when I think you're being serious, you go and you say some shit.
Of course I do. That's how I roll. I'm Newf Nukem. No chills. Love it. That's awesome.
Man.
I was gonna say because I was.
Did not hear what you said. All I heard was and I was like, no, I don't know what this is.
I'm expecting a reaction from you there, and you just kept on going. It's like, no, I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm just like, what is this? What is that?
The cream of some young guy.
Slurred it.
We're playing.
You did slur it.
Yeah, I know. I slur a lot anyway. I got no teeth. No, that's not true. I got teeth, but
like a few less than I do, I guess. No,
I'm a Newfoundlander, and it's just typical for me to slur at times because some of the big words they just get caught in my tongue. Yeah, we're doing this at 4K 60, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. I can't even remember what I played. Cool. Any more last questions before we close the show? Hey, EBD Texas, Alex, what is going on, brother?
Oh,
glad you could come out and check out the stream.
I think we're doing pretty well. Like, we're playing and talking. Like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've been pretty good. The guys are up there holding their fucking bacon. And
kicking ass.
I barely even hardly died this whole match. I figured I'd be going down left, right, and center, but they're just kicking ass over here. That's right, guys. We got Ice Tivo and Game Down Sice, two fucking awesome Gears players along with Blue. They love Gears. They play it a lot. All that stuff. So, yeah, check them out. Send them an invite to Gears sometime. They're awesome. The stream is in 1080p. That's why you ask. Yeah. Like I said, I usually always play on the highest graphic fidelity. I like my games to look better. What is your favorite sport? There's a good one. That one comes from Clement. He goes by Logros Benz in the chat here, but he's Clement Obert. He shows up to a lot of my streams and stuff and supporting. What's your favorite sport? Do you like anything?
So
Baseball?
my favorite sport,
Football?
I like basketball.
Basketball?
I'm not like super. I watch basketball. I watch baseball. I watch football. I watch everything. Like usually when it's like the, you know, the end part, the playoffs,
Right.
the Super Bowl, all the super competitive part, I'll watch
Gotcha.
it because it's like more intense.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy basketball more because it's, you know, something I used to do, so it's a little bit more fun. But yeah, I'm not like super into sports. Like I can't tell you who's who and stuff like that. I'll know some names based off of like watching a little bit, but I'm not like over here like with stats and all that stuff. So don't get it twisted. But I like sports in general. I enjoy playing it more so. But guys don't like to play with women.
Right. Alan asked another good question. What do you like to do when you're not gaming? That's pretty much what Jago asked.
When I'm not gaming, when I'm not gaming, I'm working. There's that. I do have a full-time job. I work mostly all day, and then when I do have some time, I try to work on my like YouTube channel and kind of I'm into super different things. So like on my channel, there's a lot of like helpful videos where people can get like advice for things, and I also have this thing where I narrate creepy stories. So I don't know if anyone's heard of like creepypasta, but I really enjoy reading those for everybody. So that's been pretty fun, and I enjoy makeup. I used to have a makeup, you know, Instagram, but I haven't had much time for it. And when I'm, you know, on my own, I try when I get ready for streams and stuff like that. That's the time that I spend to kind of like do more extravagant looks and things, you know, because I have a special place in my heart for that because I almost wanted to be a makeup artist.
Right.
But
I notice you always have your makeup done really well. You always have your makeup done really well when I see you on streams. You always have really eclectic colors that stand out, accentuate your eyes and stuff. You have very nice eyes, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just paying a compliment.
I really do, and I know people like to talk shit and be like, you wear too much makeup, but what you don't understand is that I'm not wearing any during the day, so I will try and like play with it while I'm getting ready for the stream because I don't have much other time to play with it, you know? So it's like, let me live, damn it. No, but yeah, I know it's like the complete opposite of the other stuff, but that's what I like to do. I like to, you know, go out and watch movies. I love to listen to music, that kind of thing, but I feel like everyone does that for the most part.
Now, if you had one, Alan also has another one. If you had one place to visit, where would you go? What's the ultimate destination for you?
I am Puerto Rican and Dominican, and while I've been to Puerto Rico to visit, and since he's barely been in my life, he's never taken me.
Right.
So that's definitely a place that I wanna go and visit, just to kind of like connect with another side of me. We do have Dominicans in the city, as you may have heard, but it's different when you actually go to like the motherland, you know.
Yeah.
So
shout out to all our Puerto Rico friends and family members, people that have them, guys. Shout out to Puerto Rico. They've had a fucking shitty year. And, yeah, but kudos to them. Foxy's in the she's representing here right now. Fantastic stuff. Jago wants to know, do you have any siblings? I think at the start of the show you did mention something, so you got brothers, sisters, that sort of stuff.
Did I have it? Oh yeah, I have two sisters and one younger brother from my mom's side, and then I have one younger brother from my dad's side, because my mom and dad separated, so you know, we have a little bit of an extended family.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so pretty cool. It's good to have family.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Don't laugh at me, bitches. My favorite movie is the Titanic. Titanic is my favorite movie. Yeah. I love that movie. Do not talk shit about my movie.
I love it. I own it. I went to the theater 3 times to watch that shit.
Oh shit. Oh, yay! That's funny because Tebow's favorite movie is Titanic too, and he went to the theaters to watch it. I didn't because I'm too young for that shit.
That's true. That was like 1993 or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I remember the lineups for that movie. I've still to this day have never seen bigger lineups than I saw for Titanic.
Really?
And that's the
That
truth.
movie made a lot of money.
I think the last time the biggest lines I've ever seen were Titanic, Avatar, and lately it was Black Panther. Shout out to Black Panther over $1 billion. What was that, $1 billion? It's done something already? Like Jesus.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's doing really,
that
really
movie's
well.
also making a lot of money. Also, side note, they did the actors, and like the actors were dressed in like Wakanda, you know, inspired outfits. It was amazing. Oh, we're all down here.
Oh fuck! What?
I'm in the middle of the steps over here.
I'm coming. Oh, I got got by a boom shot. Just as I was going up the steps.
But yeah.
Damn it.
That's pretty awesome that the first time he died was Wave 48. I'm just saying.
I know, that's
but yeah,
crazy,
I saw Black Panther and I really, really enjoyed
97,
it.
Jago,
I really
yes.
enjoyed Black Panther.
Jago's right. I think Titanic was 1997. Yes, I think he's correct. All right. Do you guys want to finish off the last couple waves since we're at 48? Is that a
Yeah,
yes?
let's get our points.
All right,
You know
let's
we're
keep.
gamers.
Yeah, we gotta finish this. We're at 48, guys. We gotta complete. You can't stop
Let's
it here.
get this money.
We're like 2 levels away from kicking the shit out of some stuff here.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Titanic, and I don't know. I think that's something that I bonded over. One of the other things that we bonded over, which was really cool.
Right. Favorite superhero then, or superheroess, or whatever you want to call it.
Actually, that's actually something I've never really thought about.
Okay, DC. This one will stir the pot. DC or Marvel? Everybody's always arguing about.
No, honestly, I don't have a preference. Like everyone always like asks me this, and I'm like, I don't really care. I know everybody's super like, you know, oh, you have to have one. I mean, I really like both.
Right. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm
I
trying
think
to think
most
of
of us
like
all like
who I would rather be, you know? Like, I mean, Wonder Woman kicks ass, we all know. We all know she kicks ass, so that's definitely up there, right? Because seeing a woman being a big, you know, kick-ass person is super interesting to see, especially when I was younger. So that's something that, if you think about it, is pretty awesome. But I like DC and Marvel a lot, equally. Like, I can't see one being around and not the other, like, at this point.
Right.
Because I love them both so much, you know?
Siberia, he likes the Marvel Universe better. Later, Jago. Have a great night, brother.
Oh,
Thanks
shoot. It's about to go down this chat.
Alan Savage, yeah, everybody, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Like I said, we're going to keep on playing. We're going to finish out around 50 here. So if you want to keep questions coming, that's cool. We're almost at the 2-hour mark of the stream. It's went really well. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the start tonight. I don't know what happened, but it's been working good ever since. That's the main thing. So, me personally,
Yeah,
like, Marvel has a better overall selection, but the superheroes that I like the best are from DC. Does that make any sense? Like, Marvel just has such a wealth of them,
Like the ones that you...
Yeah, like to me, like for
the
me,
ones that you
Batman,
connect more with, you mean?
Batman and Superman to me are like, there's just nobody that beats the two of them.
You
Now,
know
when I was a
what?
kid, I was a
That's
huge
actually really
Spider-Man guy,
true.
right? Like when I was a kid,
Oh.
it was all about Spider-Man. Spider-Man was everything to me. And as I grew older, I was like, Batman is really cool, you know, because he doesn't have superpowers.
I really
He's
like Batman.
You know, yeah, he's a regular guy that's a millionaire, and that's, you know, and a billionaire or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I started to, and especially when Christopher Nolan did his version of The Dark Knight, I really fell in love with Batman because he started to resonate with me. Like, he's a human guy. He's smart. He's got resources, but he's not. Again, he's not a superhero in this. He got, you know, stung by a fucking bee or bitten by a spider, and he's got all these superpowers, right? Like I like that. I like guys that you almost feel like if you put the suit on, you could be them. Whereas other superheroes, you're not.
Yeah.
Now, Superman is cool to me. Well, I mean, first of all, Superman, guys, is he was developed by a Canadian, or at least one Canadian. So he has a little history in Canada. And the fact that, you know, obviously, if you guys didn't know, Superman's, his base is, I think, supposed to be in Canada somewhere, I think, or the North Pole. So, but Superman, just, I mean, he's ultra powerful, right? He's got every power pretty much you can think of. Like, in all intents and purposes, if it's not for kryptonite, like, he's a god, right? You know what I mean? Like, nobody should even come close to that.
Yeah.
That strength, that speed, X-ray vision, you know what I mean? Like, everything. Smarts, intelligence. Yeah, so... Jago,
really like
Jago got
Batman.
pulled back with the comic book talk.
Yeah, I really like Batman too. I actually kind of like forgot for a second when we were talking because I forget. Oh shit. That when I was, oh my god, I'm like trying to run around. Sorry. So when I was before all the movies and things like that, when I would watch like the TV shows, that's the character that I think that I really like. But I love seeing Wonder Woman because she, you know, reminded me of myself, and I felt like, you know, oh, like, you know, women power, girl power, whatever when I was younger. It was really, his story is really emotional, you know, so as I've gotten older, it's definitely something that I've paid attention to. And I like a good background story, you know, and especially with all that trauma.
You know what superhero I think I would get along with
really
the best?
Good villains.
Of
amazing villains. Like,
of all the superheroes I would get along with best, I know who it is. It has to be Deadpool.
Cool.
I think me and Deadpool would be best buddies.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be perfect.
No Chills, Newf, and Deadpool, right? Yeah, their logos
God,
even guessed it, he knew it. He's like, because Deadpool's got Newf Nukem written all over him, doesn't he? And the actor's awesome. Ryan Reynolds is fucking awesome. I love Ryan Reynolds.
He's hilarious.
Oh my god. Every movie's in, especially the movie that I became a Ryan Reynolds fan was probably Van Wilder. That fucking movie was awesome.
We did it.
Yeah, Deadpool's good. The sequel's coming out this year. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that movie.
Siberia's
I've been
favorite.
going to the movies to see all of these, like all of these superhero movies. Like, it's crazy. You know how much money I've spent watching them?
I bet. I mean, well, fuck, they bring one out like every 3 months. Apparently, was it the new?
I know.
The new, was it the Infinity War or whatever? Avengers. That's got pushed up to April now. That was originally from May, I think. So.
Oh my. I'm just like sitting here like I don't understand what's going on.
Are you excited to go see Tomb Raider next month or this month on the 16th?
I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna go see it.
Oh, come on, you gotta go see Tomb Raider.
I mean, I really like Tomb Raider the game, but is Tomb Raider the movie going to be as epic? Is my question.
Well, it's really based around that 2013 definitive edition game they came out with, so that's awesome. I mean, they even got scenes cut right out of the game, which blows my mind.
That's why I'm interested. So I might go see it. But you know, money is not always there, so
right?
You gotta wait and see.
Likes Wonder Woman and Thor and the fantasy stuff. Yeah, go to bed, Jago, man. We're just about done. We're gonna wrap this up as soon as we finish this round. I mean, we're at the last part, so it's kind of like, why quit when we're this close to round 50? We were back on 30 or something that it said okay, but we gotta make this count here now. We're almost done.
Yeah, we gotta just finish this off. This is what we do. We're gamers. This is how we're gonna make sure we get all these points and money.
Oh, by the way, big shout out to our good friend, the Crap Gamer, who celebrated his birthday. So, happy birthday, Crappy, if you happen to catch up with this stream or whatever. So, yeah, shout out to Crap. So many great people in this community, man. I just love it. Like I said, to be able to play games now with, you know, and identify with this. I used to think nobody played games beside me for a while there.
Aw. Yeah, seriously, it's crazy. And it's crazy how much we've grown. right? Because I'm
Amen
pretty
to
new
that.
here. Like I just found everybody like not I don't maybe a year ago, maybe less. So
Yeah, well,
I'm
fuck. You
still
got
kind
like
of
over, you got over 3,000 followers on your Twitter account now, for crying out loud.
yeah. Well, because people have been kind of like super amazing with the support, and I've been super appreciative of it, and I've been kind of like, I mean, of course, there's like the whole Twitch side of it too, where
Yeah.
when that comes into play,
Woo!
you know. But it's been great. We did it!
We
There we
did it,
go,
people. That's how we
victory!
roll. Look at that shit. Oh yeah, you guys got to see us do a full 50
Oh,
waves of Horde on the stream. That is friggin' epic. Ice Tivo, awesome job. Our Game Down Sites, great job, guys. Sorry we couldn't chat with you the whole time, but man, it was epic. That was great. Everybody did really, really well. That was fantastic. Game Down Sites chiming in the chat. Yeah, sorry we couldn't do the chat with you guys, but obviously it's a mixer stream and that's up. But anyway, we're going to end it here, guys. I want to thank everybody who came out and checked us out tonight in the chat. You guys are fantastic. We're going to catch you again soon. Thank you, Blue. This was actually a really good
no
episode 11.
problem.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lady Fox. Kind Colt. Man, no problem, buddy. You can catch the replay. I'll try to post it tomorrow. Maybe we'll see you on the next stream.
Yes.
That's my biggest challenge now, is finding out who's going to be the next guest. But you were fantastic. You didn't let me down. Blue, before we go, just let everybody know how they can get a hold of you, where they can find you, how they can check out your Twitch streams and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I am X Blue Rendezvous on every single platform. You can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Twitch, you can find me on Mixer, and sometimes you go live here. And you can find me, you know, pretty much. I do have a Discord. You can definitely find my information on my Twitter. Everything's kind of like set out there for you guys to like click, click, click. So if you can follow me, even if you don't go on the platform, even if you have a preference, just like shoot me a follow because it helps. And I would appreciate you so much. But if you have time to come see me on Twitch, I do live stream and we have a really good time. We get very silly, and I do on my Discord ask people what they would want to see, what game I should play, who wants to get invited, all that good stuff. So come through and we'll have a good time. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate you, Newfie.
We appreciate you too. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed episode 11 of Mixing It Up with Newf. We brought the Latino heat tonight with Blue Rendezvous, and in order to go cool off now, you're going to have to, well, have some blue balls.
Adios. We just had to do it. Oh, God.
Adios, amigos.
Go take a cold
All
shower.
right. Let's go cool
Adios.
off. All right, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon. We'll see you on the next podcast and streams and all that good stuff. Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much for checking it out.